Welcome to Winning with Annalee. I'm your host, Annalee Leonard, president of Mainstay Financial Group, right on the corners of Antes and Perry. I wanted to take some time today to share with you the wonderful success we had with our women's event, E to the Power of 3. And of course, I can't do that unless I have with me my two main cohorts, Dr. Suzanne Bush and Deb Alonzo from Sacred Heart Hospital. This is the moving force. I mean, this is what makes it happen. The rest of the board, my gosh, we worked a long time. And really hard, but we wanted to share with you the success that we had on Saturday. Tell me, did either of you see anybody that in any way, shape, or form looked unhappy or not pleased?
They went out happy and pleased and excited and full of energy. I really think it energized them quite a bit.
I think it did, and we always, when you get speakers, you put a program together, you kind of wonder, oh, is this going to blend together? What's going to happen? And Friday, I took all of the speakers to lunch, and I wanted to see how the energies went together. And it was amazing because you had all these women talking together, and you realized we're all trying to do the same thing. Little bit different approach, but we're all trying to do the same exact thing. And the rating we got on our speakers, because we asked people to evaluate.
Right, it was amazing.
It was.
We had, I think it was, everybody had over 50% approval rate in the excellent category. So we had fair, good, excellent, and everybody wound up fair, excellent, but over 50% for everyone in the excellent category.
Right. Well, some of them were nationally known speakers and really professionally done.
Yes.
And that really is an honor and a privilege for us to have that kind of quality speaker come and talk to women of our age.
Sure. And of course, Deb, the hospital was a perfect location for us. Appetite for Life did a wonderful job for us for lunch.
Fantastic, they really did.
It was good food. So the day flowed very, very smoothly. And, of course, we don't yet have a count count on the dollars. But we know we're going to have quite a bit to give back to Sacred, which goes right back to the Women's Center.
That's correct.
Which Dr. Bush heads up. So why don't you share with us, you told a couple of wonderful stories Saturday about how the money that is donated is used.
Right. We have really targeted women over 50 that are almost forgotten. There are a lot of programs for young women with children, but women over 50 and sometimes in a gap in their insurance cannot afford basic health care. We are not a free clinic, so we depend on generous donations by the Power V3, and also Sacred Heart and Ascension help us quite a bit. But we were able this year, two of my favorite stories were one, a woman was over 50, wanted to donate a kidney. We have a new renal transplant program at Sacred Heart. She could not donate a kidney without having a mammogram.
Now, why is that?
They want to make sure she's cancer free. Before she donates a kidney.
I got you.
And we were able to provide that money to help her, and then she gave another life. It was just really playing it forward to the best way that I can describe. We had another young woman, I call her young, she was only 52.
That's young.
Yes, but had gone through a change of life early, was at risk of having deteriorated bones, couldn't afford the DEXA scan, and we were able to use the Power V3's funds to help this young woman who was trying to go back to school and take care of her family and doing more things than anyone, and working and trying to do all these things, but didn't have money for that basic care.
And she didn't need those additional medical problems on top of all the other challenges.
The medical bills on top of that as well. So again, two of my favorite stories out of this past year. Of being able to help women that fell into this little gap.
The little gap. And I think the wonderful thing I want everyone to really understand about this organization and what we're doing, we're local, the money goes right back in to help local women. And I think it's wonderful and it's great that people donate to different areas and different countries and whatever, but I think in doing that sometimes we forget about our own community, and if we become stronger, I think that spreads out.
Most definitely.
Right.
Right.
Many of these women are very proud. They may be working, but their income is just not enough, and they so appreciate
Yes.
the help. I mean, it is just the smiles on their faces are just light you up. Makes you feel like we've done something.
We've done
today.
something. And
Yeah.
and don't you do this kind of on a sliding scale for them? I mean, don't we kind of look at what they can afford and help
Absolutely.
them to...
Some of them are in programs where they have a certain amount that they're responsible for, but it is even difficult to get to that point. So we make the money go very far.
I know you
We
do.
do.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Last year, Power of E3, we were able to give to the clinic right at $7,000, and Deb and I were there to present the check to Dr. Sue, and that was such an exciting
day.
Exciting.
Exciting very much. Yes.
And
Most
you have
definitely.
just doled that money out
Yeah.
across the year. It's been amazing
Yes,
to
we
me.
just so much per month,
Yeah.
because you could spend it all in the first month, honestly. But we want to make sure we touch as many lives as we can.
Yeah.
You know.
And again, I think that's important for everybody to understand that we're not just saying, okay, we give this money to Dr. Sue. Dr. Sue goes out and buys a big piece of equipment or a new computer and we're done. This is something you're using on a monthly basis to help women stay healthier and give them a better lifestyle. Because if we're not healthy,
Right.
we know what happens then.
Right. Healthcare is very expensive, and we knew that we would not be able to cure all ills with this, but if we could target preventative health care, that might even prevent someone from getting cancer.
Yeah. And you know, Deb, you see it over in the hospital that very often people don't get any preventative care.
That's right.
And by the time they come to the hospital, it's
very sad. It's very heartbreaking, you know.
and expensive.
And expensive.
And who
expensive.
winds up paying for that?
Well,
Yeah.
we know
Yeah.
what happens with that.
Right.
But it takes a toll on the person and their families.
Sure.
Everything.
Right.
It's
Well, it's
just-
like a great spider web. It spreads out. So again, that goes back to the theory of we keep our community more healthy and that will spread because the clinic serves women. I was amazed when you told me that, all the way out to Okaloosa, isn't it?
Right. We service a multi-county area where there's no access to women's health care or just a nurse practitioner in a health department. So we are their physician services for women's health care. As far over as Mariana.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that stretches.
That
Yeah,
stretches
that's
and
a
up
long
into
way
South Alabama, Andalusia,
Right.
Dothan, into that area as well. Big referral base.
That's amazing to me that we have that many people. So let me ask you this. What if someone is out there, they're listening, they're interested in talking to you, coming to the clinic, are there certain parameters they have to meet or call for an appointment?
No, we take all comers. We really
Okay.
do. And I don't see patients personally myself. I see them in conjunction with our resident physician team. And we are teaching in the clinic, and I'm very experienced in 25 years of healthcare in Pensacola for women, and it's my chance to give back to these young physicians. But I sometimes see the patients with the physicians if they want me to, and it's been a great experience. Really
So
love it.
not only are we helping women in this clinic, you're teaching young physicians how to be better physicians,
Right.
how to be
And-
caring human beings.
Well, that's our goal. They really are already there. They're a remarkable generation of giving, and they have a big heart. But you know, I can give them some tips of how to practice medicine efficiently and not miss things that can sometimes run under the radar a little bit.
And I think one of the things you teach them, because I've watched you with some of the younger students, you teach them to listen, and that's so important.
Right.
Your field, my field. If we don't listen, we miss the mark entirely. And sometimes somebody's telling you something and you've got to ask a few questions to get to what they're really saying. And I think sometimes people might be a little reticent to go to you and say, oh yeah, I haven't been checked in 8 years.
Right.
You know, because that's like, oh, I don't want to tell Dr. Sue that, but
Right.
yeah, you got to figure it out.
Right. The Dr. Osler, who started John Hopkins Hospital, said, listen to the patient. They'll tell you what's wrong with them. And we talk about an illness script, so they have to listen to hear what the patient's saying, so they'll tell them what's wrong. And it's been really fun to watch them, and their eyes get bigger, like, oh, I can see she has this. I said, yes, she does. So it's a lot of learning and discovery, and then, you know, after a year or two, they're pretty much on their own.
They're on their own. So, you know, what we wanted to really accomplish today is to let you know what we're doing with E3. We're not only educating the women in our community, because the women who were there left saying they learned so many things about where to go for the answers they need. Not necessarily that they walked out with all the answers. You can't do that in a 5-hour period, but knowing where to go to get a lot of the answers that they have questions about. So it's a good thing, but then to know where those dollars go, to me, that's extremely important. And to know we're keeping them here to make other women stronger, to educate them about their choices, because I think a lot of people that hit that age group, we're not prepared for a lot of the things that are coming along. And what I'd like to do after we take a short break is talk about that if we could. Okay? So we'll be right back in just a minute.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
I started mentoring my mentee, Dantre, 4 years ago. I always thought about doing it.
Etienne's a very close friend. I look at him as a brother and a father figure. I would like to give back, just like Etienne gave back to me. Be someone who matters to someone who matters.
Mainstay Financial Group offers advocacy and personal financial guidance in a caring environment. That's the heart of our practice. At Mainstay, we're dedicated to exemplary service and a caring relationship with our client, not with a number. Plan for the future now with Mainstay Financial Services.
Retirement strategies come in all shapes and sizes. One strategy does not fit all when it comes to reaching your retirement goals, and considering all your options may be, well, more than you want to think about. So whether you're looking to retire or already living in retirement, you need a strategy tailor-made for you.
Hi, I'm Annalee Leonard with Mainstay Financial Group, and I'm here to design a financial plan for you and for those that you love. Welcome back to Winning with Annalee. I'm your host, Annalee Leonard, and I have with me today Dr. Suzanne Bush and Deb Alonzo from Sacred Heart Hospital.
Thank you.
And we're talking about what we did with our event E3 this year, the people we are serving in our community, and that's exactly how I look at what this is. It's a way to serve the community. You know, Deb, that's what Senior Spirit is all about over at Sacred Heart. I mean, you're serving that community by offering different types of programs.
Educational program, health and wellness programs and educational programs. Excuse me.
So, you know, it's pulling it all together. And then, of course, you know, the whole purpose, reason we came up with E3 originally, 3 of us were sitting in the room talking. In fact, it was Deb and myself and Joan, and we were all sitting there talking, and I have seen in my own practice, there's a group of people that have been neglected as far as education, people to talk to about what's going on, and that's been the woman age 55 and above, 50 and above, actually, we could say. So that's why we gear our topics to that. And of course, as we were talking about, it's more of a wellness approach.
Right. And it's hitting that whole wellness is not just the body.
Right.
It's the spirit and the mind. And I love the holistic planning that we've done for the topics that we discussed that touch a little bit on all of those. And I think that was overwhelming, some of the response that we got from the women, that they really liked the holistic approach.
Yeah.
Financial health, medical health, as well as a spiritual health and wellness.
Yeah, well, you know, that's amazing you said that, because one of the things we inquired of everybody who was there, tell us some topics you would like to see in the future. And the number one topic that they brought up was holistic medicine, holistic healing. And I think we're kind of, thank you, goodness, in my field I see it happening. It's more of the team approach, as you're doing in medicine.
Absolutely.
You know, the team. Let's pull in everybody. I pull in the attorneys. I pull in the tax people. You go out and you pull other people in, because one always affects the other, doesn't it?
Really does, really does. And having that that whole picture there, though, of the complete person, both financial or medical, or in the senior spirit, is
Spiritual
the
and-
spiritual, absolutely.
Well,
I
and
was
one of the
really
things
good.
Senior Spirit helps with is the social aspect. And that was one of the
Aging
things.
with attitude is
Aging
what that
with
is.
attitude.
A good attitude.
I like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
and
it
that's
is.
one of the things that was brought out is very often so many people, once the children have left home, a spouse has gone, the biggest problem is isolation.
It's easy to just stay home and not do anything.
Right. And I think the other thing that the more I read about healthy aging, the one underlying factor is that education component. And
Yes.
that's what we're trying to do with Power of E3,
Yeah.
is that education, enlighten, and empower.
And empower.
And I think letting those women see what their contribution was doing on Saturday was really very, very rewarding for many of the women that were there.
I thought it was.
Absolutely.
I thought it was. So some of the things we're going to look at in the future: holistic medicine. People wanted to know more about hearing loss, vision loss, scammers, because goodness knows they're out there. Joan always gets nervous because I call them the scumbags, but you know, what can I tell you? And employment. One of the things I find in my own business, I can tell you some of my favorite employees are the people who have already retired.
They're on their second career.
They're on a second career, and they're there because they want to be there, not because they have to be. And I find those some of the most perceptive people, and having that serving spirit. You know?
Absolutely.
And I think people get to that point of oh man, I'm 60, I'm 65, who's going to want to hire me? You've heard that.
I know, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I found it interesting that Sarah even talked about, Sarah Gibber, our keynote speaker, she talked about that, building that second or maybe third career,
Or maybe
so
third.
to keep you plugged into the community and keep you active. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
What she talked, she called that was it the G? I can't remember.
GIC or something.
GIC,
It was a strange
yeah.
terminology
Yeah.
she used. But you know, you think about it, we had on our board in my office, part of E3, look at Joan. Joan was an RN who was the head nurse at a hospital. Then she went into a teaching career. Then she was the administrator at the Pensacola State College of Nursing. Then she was a lieutenant colonel in the armed forces. That little popcorn is a lieutenant colonel. And now she's been working with me for over 10 years. I mean,
Amazing.
constantly
Yes.
recreating herself, but we all know her, and she's totally energetic, totally alive, totally with everything, and learning every day.
I know. I learned so much from my patients over the years, and when I would take care of a woman who is really successfully aging, just so much energy and vitality, I said, "What's your secret?" And I remember one of them saying, you think you want to retire, but you need a reason to put your feet on the floor every morning.
Yes.
And if someone is sitting at home and not educating and empowering themselves to go out and do other things, I think that that's where sometimes it isn't as successful.
Yeah.
But I think that was really one lesson I remember very well.
And it might not necessarily be a job. I mean, Deb, hospital is basically almost run by your volunteers.
Volunteers. My department's run by volunteers. I couldn't do my job. Well, I wouldn't want to do my job without volunteers. I just love having them. You know,
And most of your volunteers are retired people,
they
aren't
are.
they?
They are, and they take it very seriously. It's like a job to them. I mean, they're that dependable. They do not miss and are there on their days and
never
love to
late.
Come and
stay
and
late if you need them.
They all have. They know so many people in the hospital, and they're all engaged, and so you've got that social aspect.
Yes.
Even through the volunteer services, which is great.
Right. Well, I think it does. It always brings a good spirit to the hospital as well.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So, I think the message we're trying to get across to everybody is keep the mind alert, keep the body alert, make sure you have a purpose other than watching the soap operas in the morning, because that'll just dull the brain so quickly. And even if it's 2 hours of volunteering a day at the hospital, at the library, we lost one of our clients a couple of years ago, wonderful, wonderful lady, and her motivation was either volunteering at her church or at the library out in Perdido Key, and everybody referred to it as Dorothy's Library because she was always there. She was always there. And that gave her that incentive to constantly keep going till the body just finally wore down. But she was always very happy, always very engaged, always very giving, and I can see the difference, and I know you can in patients. I see the difference in clients who come in and remain active and those who don't in the aging process, how quickly it happens.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, again, we wanted to let you know that the event was very successful. We know it's successful monetarily. I don't have numbers for you yet, but watch somewhere in the paper, you'll see a picture of these smiling faces giving a check to Dr. Sue, and she will have the biggest smile, and we'll let you know what that was. But to let you know, we're already working on 2018.
We are.
We are.
I know.
We've got ideas. We've got big ideas.
Yep.
And we're gonna make it bigger and better.
Bigger and better.
As we're walking out the door, guess what we're doing next year?
And it was a step for us to take Fran in with the sound therapy and the sound healing, thinking, oh, is everybody going to listen to her? They're not going to think we're trying to be a bunch of witch doctors, whatever. And then doggone, the thing they want most next year is holistic medicine.
Right.
So,
well, I know my table, we were listening to her sound therapy and she took us through a session and we were just relaxed and everybody went, oh my goodness, that really did.
I didn't realize I was that tense.
I didn't either. And then, but I wasn't sleepy, I was just
You were energized
relaxed.
when it was over.
Refreshed.
Yes.
It was really very fascinating.
Very, very good. I know when I sat in the beginning, I had my feet on the floors, we were asked to do, and hands, and I'm like this. And all of a sudden, I went like this, and was like, whoa, that's a lot of tension that just left my body that I didn't even know was there.
Didn't know it was there.
You know, so good event, good cause that we're giving the money back to. We invite you, people who are listening, watching, if you're a woman, you want to help us be part of our board. If you're a man out there, you want to help us spread the word, get this out to people. If you have ideas, please call us, talk to us. We're looking for as much help as we can possibly get, because the more of us there are, the more ideas we have, the more people we're going to reach. And we're a doggone fun group of ladies to work with. I got them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
have a good
we are,
time.
doggone. We do. We have a good time. We work hard, but we have a good time. So we are open. If you want to help us sitting on the board, you want to help us with topics, you might know some speakers that you think, oh, Annalee, this is a good one for what you're doing. Let us know, because as I said, we're already working on next year.
How should they get in touch with you, Annalee? Through the website?
They could go to
telephone?
the website, Power of E3. They could call my office directly, 437-3127. Deb, they could call you over at Senior Spirit.
Sure.
Yes.
416-6547.
And they can certainly go to your clinic if they want to.
Absolutely. We're open to all. We are.
Good. So hopefully you're out there, you want to help us make the community a better place, because that is what we're doing, and that's what we're so striving for. My personal goal is to get to a point where we have to move from the hospital because it's too small of a venue.
Absolutely.
My personal goal is to say, Dr. Sue, here's a $40,000 check.
That will be
That's
amazing.
where I want to get to. That
Yes.
is really where I want to get to. And
That changes a community with amount that like that. That will impact our health in the community significantly.
significantly.
Right.
So help us make the community a better, stronger, healthier place. And if you want to call us, 437-3127. I'll get you in touch with one of these ladies, and we'll see you next month. Thank you so much.